Hey everyone, Brett Little here, Green Home Institute, and I'm actually coming to you live here from my own house to talk a little bit about the Airthings Wave and Airthings Wave Plus and overall indoor air quality monitoring. In the future, we're going to have air quality monitoring in our home. So right now we've got smoke detectors, fire alarms, carbon monoxide detectors. And so what we're going to have here is something a little bit new that's going to detect other air quality particulates, VOCs, humidity, of course, we have that sometimes in our thermostats, total volatile organic compounds, TVOCs, carbon dioxide, which can make us really tired and irritable, as well as potentially radon is something else we might want to track. So this acts kind of like, if you think of it as a thermostat or as a smoke alarm, if you will, and it transmits data to your phone and to your computer to give you up-to-date information on what's going on inside your house so you can keep the air healthy for you and your families. So this thing, and also you get to log all that information, keep track of it, and try to understand what's going on within the house. And there are many different devices out there on the market that do this and do this well. This one happens to be do a really good job of it. So we've had it now installed for just over about 9 days. It takes about 7 days to calibrate. It's supposed to be located in an area that you can have many of them around your house, but it's supposed to be located in an area you spend a lot of time in. And so we have this open floor concept, kitchen plan, dining room and living room, so it worked out really well for us. And you want to kind of put it up at a level where you're breathing for adults. So that's a spot you want to put it. Unlike traditional fire alarms, where you might put that a little bit higher. So obviously, I'm using my phone right now to show you what's going on. So most of this data I have on my phone. And so this is just a screenshot of what you might see. Two different screenshots side by side. The one there on your left is what you could see is our really high CO2 average being tracked over the course of the last week, and then just an overall snapshot of what's going on in the home as far as radon, TVOC, CO2, humidity, temperature, and then it also tracks pressure, which is interesting. Like if a storm's coming, that'll go down. So this was a screenshot of literally just 2 minutes ago. I took that screenshot from my phone just to show you that most of the time I can turn the app on, look right at it, and see what's going on in the house and figure out what we need to change in the house to improve our air quality. I'm not always looking at it from a computer. But again, because I'm using my phone right now, I wanted to show you what the screenshots look like. Now from the computer, this is really interesting because you get a lot of data from the computer standpoint. And again, you can download that all into an Excel sheet if you want to. And you can just see 12 hours, 48 hours, 1 week, 1 month. We don't have that much data yet. And again, we're looking at radon, parts per billion of total volatile organic compounds, which can be toxic, air, carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide. It doesn't detect carbon monoxide. Humidity, of course, which is important. Temperature, very interesting, and then of course pressure. So, the radon levels, interestingly enough, again in our house, kind of going up and down, way below the required level. But this is our first floor here, so you can just see that potentially in a basement we might have higher levels, closer to that 4, where we want to take action. So this is giving us good information that we're getting halfway to where we want to be upstairs in our house. So it would be interesting to see where we would want to be downstairs. You can see, if you look kind of over 48 hours, these TVOCs spiking within our house. You can see there was a big spike quite some time ago. When we're cooking, maybe burning some candles. Other times we're not sure why it's spiking. Now, the parts per million one is one of the most interesting one. So you can see here, I put my family through a little bit of science experiment, which was a bit of a rough week, going back when we activated this thing. And you can see this red here is trying to tell you, hey, this is bad. You don't want to have this much
parts per million of carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide, because it could make you tired, sleepy, irritable, hard to work. We're all working from home right now because of the pandemic, so we're all here spiking these levels up. And so we went 1 week. It was an interesting week because it was very hot outside. So we closed all the windows the entire time. It was so hot we couldn't keep the windows open. And we shut down all the ventilation besides a recirculating MERV 11 filter in our furnace. And so that was really the only ventilation we had in our entire house. And so you can just see that these levels actually were going all the way up, one of them near 1900. So it's saying the average is this, but our real average was last week was somewhere around 1700, which is huge. And it spiked up at 1900 at one point. And so you can see here just a couple days ago, let's see if we can move this thing. Sorry, this is the first time I've looked at the internet version of it. But as you can see here, maybe you can see that little yellow, it goes from red to yellow and it starts dipping. So we have a bath fan, and we usually run that bath fan all the time to get good ventilation in the house. So kind of the science experiment I put my family through is we didn't run it for that full week, just to see how things would go, and it definitely showed this spike in parts per million in our CO2 because we're always here, we're working from home, the kids are home, they have nowhere to go. And so then it dipped way down the second we went through the full week of calibration, and I activated that bath fan, and you can kind of see that it dips down here. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, it dips down there, turns a little bit yellow, and then goes all green. And so that one little bath fan we had started pulling out all of our levels, and you can see now within the last 12 hours, our average is 570. And again, the system is saying that's good. We could definitely feel a difference in how awake we were, how more motivated we were, because again, those high levels of that really make you tired, really make you irritable, and so that's very useful to have. And then we saw our humidity remaining the same. Temperature, we got some really good data because the temperature showed us over the last week when it was super hot outside that there's an inconsistent, we kept our temperature at 71 degrees with the air conditioning, but the living room was always an average of 74, so super hot where we're hanging out. And then also one point at you can see the red here, it spiked up to nearly 78 degrees because it was so hot outside, and the little old air conditioner we have just couldn't keep up anymore. It's just super undersized and super old. So what our goal was to use this thing to, before we do a big renovation to our house, upgrade the energy and health and air quality, and get some preliminary data just to see what the before shot is, and then use that information after we do some improvements to see if those improvements really work, not just to save energy, which we're also tracking, but to also improve air quality in our home, and really be able to show that. So our hope is that those CO2 levels remain low, but we can do it in a more energy efficiency way with an energy recovery ventilator, because the bath fan uses a lot of energy, especially the one we have is really old and not certified to Energy Star. And then also we want to make sure if we put in a radon system, can we get those radon levels down? So we're going to be tracking that. And then, can we keep humidity down to that sort of 50 and lower level with our new heat pump system going in? And then, more importantly, can we get enough airflow through a better designed heat pump air conditioning system so that we can keep the space we're hanging out in at a lower temperature so it's not so hot? So those are some of our goals, to be able to track that and figure that out. And that's going to take time because by the time we get it installed, the heat of summer will be over, so we'll have to test it out next year. But that was one thing we wanted to do, and so we really wanted to thank the folks over at Airthings for sending us this, helping us set this up before we do our project, be able to collect this data, and really spread the word that we think, moving forward, if you're doing a renovation project or a new home, the next level of air quality is to have constant monitoring and detection to really take it to the next level. So you can check this out and everything else we're doing, and more about my project will be